You were never told the full truth about the perfume sitting on your dresser right now. For 20, 30, maybe 40 years, you have been spraying these scents onto your pulse points every single morning, trusting that what touched your skin was safe. But while you aged, while your skin thinned and your hormones shifted, the formulas inside those bottles stayed exactly the same. Or worse, they quietly added ingredients that other countries have now banned. In 2025, the UK Office for Product Safety and Standards recalled celebrity fragrances for containing a chemical classified as a reproductive toxicant. Nobody called you. Nobody warned you. Nobody asked how many bottles you had already finished. Today, we are exposing the 6 fragrance categories, putting mature skin at risk, and then giving you 4 safer alternatives so you can take back control of what touches your body. Number 1. Hello by Lionel Richie. There is something deeply unsettling about trusting a fragrance because a beloved celebrity put their name on it only to discover it was pulled from shelves for chemical danger. Hello by Lionel Richie was marketed as elegant, timeless, sophisticated, the kind of scent a woman of a certain age might reach for when she wanted to feel polished without trying too hard. You sprayed it on your wrists, your neck, behind your ears, places where blood runs close to the surface and absorption happens fast. You reapplied it before dinner, before meetings, before seeing friends. It became part of your identity. And the whole time, it contained butylphenyl methylpropional, known as BMHCA, a fragrance compound that the European Union and United Kingdom have banned outright because of its links to reproductive toxicity and skin sensitization. The UK Office for Product Safety and Standards issued the recall in 2025. The finding was unambiguous. BMHCA was present. The chemical is classified as a reproductive toxicant. This was not a minor labeling error or a packaging defect. This was a celebrity-endorsed product marketed toward women who trusted the name on the bottle, quietly removed because it failed modern safety standards. How many bottles did you finish before that recall happened? How many years did you layer this scent onto skin that was already becoming more vulnerable, more permeable, less able to buffer against chemical insult? Mature skin does not behave the way it did at 30. The barrier thins. Cell turnover slows. Repair mechanisms take longer. What once bounced off now sinks in. What once rinsed away now lingers. And while your biology changed, this formula did not adapt to you. It stayed frozen in time, formulated for a younger demographic, assuming your skin could handle whatever it threw at you. The promise was elegance. The reality was exposure to a banned reproductive toxicant without your knowledge or consent. That is not elegance. That is neglect, dressed up in a designer bottle. Number 2. Hot by United Colors of Benetton. United. You thought a mainstream mass-market fragrance from a globally recognized brand would be safer than a celebrity scent. The 2025 UK recall proves otherwise. Hot by United Colors of Benetton was caught in the same regulatory sweep for the same banned ingredient, BMHCA, the same chemical classified as a reproductive toxicant, the same compound that the European Union decided was too dangerous to allow near consumers. And yet for years, possibly decades, this fragrance sat on shelves, was sprayed onto bodies, was layered over skin that had no idea what it was absorbing. The UK Office for Product Safety and Standards issued the notice. The finding confirmed the presence of a prohibited fragrance ingredient under EU and UK law. This was not a niche product from an unknown manufacturer. This was Benetton, a brand you have seen in malls, in department stores, in airports around the world, a brand that markets itself as colorful, youthful, accessible. And while regulators in one part of the world deemed this formulation unsafe, it may still be available where you live right now. Different countries have different thresholds. Different markets have different rules. What is banned in London might still be sitting on a shelf in your city, waiting for you to pick it up because the bottle looks familiar and the price seems reasonable. Your skin at 50, 60, 70 is not the same skin that first tried this fragrance. The barrier that once protected you has worn down. The hormones that once buffered your system have shifted. The repair mechanisms that once worked overnight now take days. And this formula never accounted for any of that. It was designed for a market segment, tested on a demographic, approved by a regulatory system that has since changed its mind. The formula did not evolve with you. It did not adapt to your changing biology. It stayed exactly where it was while you moved forward. And now you are left wondering how much accumulated exposure your body absorbed before anyone thought to mention the problem. Number 3, any perfume listing. Only fragrance or parfum. Turn over any perfume bottle in your collection right now. Read the ingredient list. Somewhere on that label, you will almost certainly find a single word doing the work of hiding dozens of undisclosed chemicals. That word is fragrance or parfum. It sounds harmless. It sounds like it simply means the scent itself. But legally, that single word is a loophole. A trade secret protection that allows manufacturers to withhold the actual chemical composition of their formulas from you, the person spraying it directly onto your body every single day. The Environmental Working Group reported in 2023 that fragrance mixtures may contain hormone-disrupting or allergenic chemicals not disclosed on labels. Read that again. Hormone-disrupting chemicals, allergenic compounds, hidden inside a word that tells you nothing. You are not being given the information you need to make informed choices about what touches your skin. You are being asked to trust that companies who profit from your purchases have your best interests at heart. You are being asked to accept secrecy as a business necessity, while you absorb unknown substances through skin that has become more permeable with every passing year. For a woman navigating perimenopause, menopause, or postmenopause, this is not an abstract concern. Your endocrine system is already in flux. Your hormones are already shifting, surging, dropping, recalibrating. And every morning you spray a mixture of undisclosed chemicals onto your wrists and neck without knowing whether any of them interact with the delicate hormonal balance your body is fighting to maintain. The formula on that bottle was not designed with your midlife biology in mind. It was designed to smell good and last long. What it does once it absorbs into your skin was never the priority. That single word, fragrance, represents a gap in transparency that has been exploited for decades while your body changed and nobody updated the labels to match. Number 4, perfumes containing phthalates. Phthalates are the invisible workhorses of the fragrance industry. They are what make your perfume last from morning until evening. They are what keep the scent from evaporating the moment it hits your skin. They are also linked to hormone interference and skin reactions, and they are almost never listed on the bottle because they hide inside that catch-all term we just discussed. The Environmental Working Group flagged phthalates in their 2023 research. The Canadian Lung Association has reported connections to dermatitis and respiratory irritation. These are not obscure findings from fringe researchers. These are mainstream health organizations raising flags about chemicals that millions of women apply to their bodies every single day without knowing. Hormone-active chemicals are especially concerning for women in midlife. Your endocrine system is not operating the way it did at 30. Estrogen levels fluctuate, progesterone drops, cortisol spikes. Your body is working overtime to find a new equilibrium, and into that delicate rebalancing act, you are introducing synthetic compounds designed to manipulate how scent molecules behave on your skin. The fragrance industry did not formulate these products with your hormonal transition in mind. They formulated them to last longer, project further, perform better in consumer testing. What those phthalates do once they cross your skin barrier was never part of the design brief. The reason you do not see phthalates listed on ingredients is the same reason you do not see the other components of fragrance disclosed. Trade secrets, competitive advantage, business as usual. But your body does not care. about trade secrets. Your body absorbs what it absorbs. Your hormones respond to what they encounter. And every time you spray a phthalate-containing perfume onto your pulse points, you are introducing hormone-active compounds into a system that is already under stress. The formula has not evolved. The disclosure has not improved. The industry has not adapted to the reality of who is actually buying and using these products. You have changed. They have not. Number 5. Synthetic musk-heavy fragrances. Certain fragrance chemicals do not wash away at the end of the day. They do not evaporate into the air. They do not break down and disappear. They persist. They accumulate. They have been detected in human blood and breast milk, which means they are not just sitting on your skin. They are circulating through your body and showing up in tissue analysis. Synthetic musks, particularly compounds like galaxolide that have been studied in environmental science research, fall into this category. You spray them on, you rinse off at night, and they stay. Environmental science and technology studies have documented the persistence of these compounds. They do not behave like water-soluble ingredients that your body flushes out. They behave like fat-soluble substances that lodge in tissue and accumulate with repeated exposure. And if you have been wearing musk-heavy fragrances for 20, 30, 40 years, that is a lot of repeated exposure. That is thousands of applications layering on top of each other, while nobody mentioned that some of what you were spraying would become a permanent resident in your body, rather than a temporary guest. Mature skin absorbs differently than young skin. The barrier is thinner. The lipid layer is compromised. Penetration happens faster and deeper. And once these synthetic musks cross that barrier, they do not simply sit on the surface waiting to be washed away. They enter circulation. They distribute through fat tissue. They show up in biomonitoring studies as evidence that fragrance exposure is not a surface phenomenon. It is a systemic one. The perfume industry did not design these musks with bioaccumulation in mind. They designed them because musks smell good and consumers like them. What happens after absorption was never the priority. But for a woman who has been layering these scents for decades, what happens after absorption is exactly the question that should have been asked a long time ago. Number 6. Fragrances known to trigger allergic or respiratory reactions. The perfume you have worn for 15 years without incident is now giving you headaches. The scent you used to love is now making your eyes water. The fragrance that once felt like a signature is now triggering skin reactions you never experienced before. This is not your imagination. This is your immune system responding differently than it did when you were younger. Fragrance compounds are among the most common causes of contact dermatitis, migraines, and breathing irritation, and sensitivity to these compounds increases with age. U.S. patch testing data shows that fragrance ingredients rank among the top allergens identified in dermatological testing. Surveys have found that over 30% of individuals report adverse reactions to scented products. That is not a small minority of unusually sensitive people. That is nearly a third of the population experiencing headaches, skin reactions, respiratory irritation, or other symptoms tied to fragrance exposure. And for women in midlife whose immune systems are recalibrating along with everything else, the threshold for reaction often drops. What you tolerated at 40 may trigger symptoms at 55. What felt fine at 50 may become unbearable at 65. The fragrance that is causing your migraines was not reformulated for your changing biology. The perfume triggering your dermatitis was not updated as your skin barrier thinned. The scent irritating your lungs was not adapted as your respiratory sensitivity increased. These formulas were locked in place years or decades ago, designed for a consumer demographic that has since aged out of the assumptions baked into the product. The industry did not follow you through menopause. The brands did not adjust their formulations as your body changed. They assumed you would keep buying. They assumed you would keep spraying. They did not assume you would start asking why your signature scent suddenly makes you feel terrible. Now that you understand what these fragrances may be doing to your skin, your hormones, and your health, let us talk about what you can do instead. I want to be completely clear before we continue. I have no affiliation, sponsorship, or partnership with any of the brands I am about to recommend. These suggestions come from research and personal experience only. If you are finding this information valuable, please take a moment to subscribe so you do not miss future content like this. EWG verified fragrance-free or transparent fragrance products. After everything we have just discussed, the relief of knowing exactly what is in a product cannot be overstated. EWG verified products meet strict criteria that require full ingredient disclosure and exclude high-risk chemicals from their formulations. There is no fragrance loophole hiding undisclosed compounds. There are no banned ingredients quietly included because the regulatory environment has not caught up. What you see is what you get, and what you get has been vetted against health standards that prioritize safety over scent performance. For mature skin that has spent decades absorbing unknown chemicals, this transparency represents a fundamental shift in control. You are no longer guessing what crosses your skin barrier. You are no longer trusting that trade secret protections align with your health interests. You are reading a label that tells the whole story and making decisions based on actual information rather than corporate discretion. The limitation is real. Many EWG verified products are completely unscented. If fragrance has been part of your identity for years, that adjustment takes time. But the trade-off is knowing that what touches your body has been held to a higher standard than the perfumes that may have been putting you at risk all along. Plant-based, phthalate-free perfume brands. If you are not ready to give up scent entirely but want to step away from the synthetic fixatives and controversial compounds we discussed, plant-based phthalate-free perfume brands offer a middle path. These formulations avoid the hormone-active chemicals that concern endocrine researchers. They skip the synthetic musks that accumulate in tissue. They use botanical extracts and essential oils to create scent profiles that work with your body rather than against it. Clean Living and non-toxic consumer publications have identified numerous brands in this category, making it easier than ever to find options that align with a safer fragrance philosophy. The trade-off is performance. Plant-based scents often fade faster than their synthetic counterparts. You may need to reapply more frequently. You may notice the projection is softer, the sillage lighter. For many women, that adjustment is worth the peace of mind that comes from knowing you are not layering phthalates onto skin that is already navigating hormonal complexity. The scent may not last all day, but neither will the worry about what you absorbed. Cosmos certified or organic fragrances. For women who want the highest level of formulation scrutiny, Cosmos and EcoCert certifications represent some of the strictest standards in the fragrance industry. These certifications restrict ingredients at the sourcing level, require transparency in manufacturing processes, and hold brands to standards that go beyond what typical regulatory bodies require. A Cosmos-certified fragrance has been vetted not just for what it contains, but for how every component was produced and processed. The control this offers mature consumers is significant. After decades of trusting brands that may not have earned that trust, certifications like these provide external verification that the product meets defined safety criteria. The limitations are equally real. Certified organic fragrances tend to cost more, and the scent profiles available are narrower than what you find in conventional perfumery. If you have specific fragrance preferences developed over years of wearing mainstream scents, the adjustment may take time. But for skin that has become more reactive, more permeable, more vulnerable, the stricter standards may be exactly what your changed biology requires. Dermatologist-recommended hypoallergenic fragrances. If you have started experiencing migraines, skin reactions, or respiratory irritation from scents you once tolerated, hypoallergenic fragrances designed to minimize allergenic potential may offer relief without requiring you to abandon fragrance entirely. Dermatology publications and clinical testing protocols guide the development of these products, prioritizing tolerability over intensity. They are formulated specifically for reactive systems, sensitive skin, and compromised barriers. For migraine-prone women or those who have developed contact dermatitis, these options represent a return to normalcy that seemed impossible when every perfume triggered symptoms. The formulations are gentler, the ingredient lists are shorter. The irritation potential is minimized through deliberate design choices. The limitation is that even hypoallergenic fragrances may contain fragrance compounds. They are simply selected and combined to reduce reaction likelihood rather than eliminate it entirely. For women whose sensitivity has increased with age, this category offers a compromise between complete fragrance elimination and continued exposure to formulations never designed with their changing biology in mind. What to do? With this information, now stop reaching for bottles without reading labels. Turn over every fragrance in your collection and look for that single word, fragrance, or parfum, and understand what it hides. Check whether any of your current perfumes were included in recent recalls or contain ingredients flagged by researchers. Start treating fragrance selection with the same scrutiny you apply to skincare, supplements, and anything else that enters your body. Your skin has changed. Your hormones have shifted. Your tolerance has evolved. The products on your dresser should evolve with you. Consider transitioning away from fragrances that rely on synthetic musks, phthalates, and undisclosed chemical mixtures. Begin exploring certified alternatives that provide the transparency you deserve after decades of trusting without verification. Protect the skin barrier that has already thinned and compromised. Support the hormonal balance your body is fighting to maintain. Take back control of what you allow to absorb into your system every single morning. If this information has changed how you think about fragrance, watch another video on this channel. Subscribe so you do not miss the next exposure. Stay safe. Protect your skin.